Go, good start. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cabinet on Friday, the 15th of November. I'm your chairman and leader of the council, Mark Stevenson, conducting this meeting today. Okay, I'm going to jump straight into it. Can I have the apologies for absence, please?
Thank you, Leader. I can report apologies for absence this morning from Councillor Andy Baker, the Housing and Planning Portfolio Holder, and also from Councillor Mick Barry, the Leisure and Public Realm Portfolio Holder. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you very much. Item number 2, minutes of the last meeting. I'm happy to move the minutes as a correct record. Is there anybody?
I'll second that, Leader.
Anybody disagree with that? Can I have an agreement then, please? Thank you very much. I'll sign them in a second. Item number 3 is declarations of interest. Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Leader. Yes, I'd like to declare an interest on item number 9, the statement of licensing policy. I'd like to disclose my pecuniary interest as I hold a gaming licence for North Essex Liberal Democrats in Tendring. And the other item is item 18, Careline consultation, results consultation. I declare other registry interest as chairman of the Autumn Centre. Many of my clients at the Autumn Centre are also Careline, so on both items I will leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Scott. Councillor Chapman.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to declare an interest in item 18 under Careline, as my mum is a customer, so I will also be leaving the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Chapman. Councillor Honeywood.
Yes, I have 2 declarations of interest then. The first is that I hold the gaming licence for Clacton Constituency Conservative Association. And secondly, I have a member of my family that uses Careline. Now, others have said they have to leave. I have a particular question around item 18 and particularly Ustride. So do I have to leave, or am I able to ask that question?
I shall ask the monitoring officer, Lisa Hastings.
I think in the circumstances, Councillor Honeywood, it would be acceptable to be able to ask the question. In addition, upon reflection, I think with regard, you're not decision makers, and as long as your questions, including Councillor Chapman actually, as long as your questions do not relate to the personal circumstances of your family, then I think both of you can stay as well.
Thank you.
Any more declarations of interest? Okay, I'll move us on. Announcements by the Leader of the Council. I've only got one. On Wednesday I had the privilege to go down and look at our new buildings in Manningtree, the Honeycroft. It was quite inspiring. I think this was something the previous administration started, and we were very grateful for all the work that they put in, and we managed to get it over the line for them. We've got solar panels, air source heating pumps, underfloor heating. This is all for our independent community, and I think it took 11 months to build, and it's a testament to our developers and to our staff in the turnaround it was in bringing this to fruition. A couple of our people that were asked to leave when we had to demolish the building have been put back in that building as per our agreement with them, and I look forward to seeing more of the community space there, because there's a community room being used. Overall, it was a really, really good experience, and I think it's something that the council can be extremely proud of. So that's my only announcement. Mr. Davidson.
Just to add to that, Leader, and also it came in excess of £200,000 under budget.
Yes, it did. Thank you very much. Announcements by Cabinet members. And I think I am going to go with Councillor Henderson first.
Thank you, Leader. I had the pleasure to attend the Institute of Economic Development's annual conference and awards on the 6th of November in London with the Deputy Chief Executive Lee Healy and our Economic Growth and Enterprise Manager Barbara Pohl. The IED is the UK's leading independent professional body representing economic development and regeneration practitioners working for local and regional communities. During the day, there were a number of inspirational and informative talks, which included some real insight into what other authorities and organisations feel about the future of economic development and how we can tackle some of the challenges we are already facing and those that could be coming our way over the next few years. At the award dinner, we were announced winners of the Social Value Champion of the Year for the Sunspot Jaywick Sands. The IED said the judges highlighted the positive impact of this impressive project on the local community, and it noted the effectively met the community needs, resulting in improved perceptions, high occupancy rates, and I can tell you now that every unit is now occupied, which is really good news, and business expansions. The initiative is recognised for addressing deprivation through collaboration, fostering hope and aspiration, and the submission demonstrated a pragmatic approach to overcoming local challenges, showcasing strong leadership. It has generated significant economic, social and environmental benefits, emphasising the close-knit community in that area. And I just want to say, as I said, I was attended alongside officers, but I want to actually point out one particular officer that needs mentioning for the commitment and energy that she has put into that project, and that is Barbara Pohl, the officer. I know how much this means to her. I was actually there seeing how pleased and proud she was of receiving the award. So I think we should show a special thanks to Barbara Pohl for the magnificent work she's done with the Sunspot. And here is the award so everyone can see it. So I think we should give her a round of applause for all the work that she's done.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. Councillor Bray.
Thanks, Leader. Just a congratulations to everybody involved in that. Obviously, it was attached to my portfolio some time ago, and of course, Councillor Honeywood's as well. And we watched it sort of grow. I was there last week, and everything Councillor Henderson said is correct. It's fully occupied. There are people down there. There's a lot of activity. It's a brilliant job, well done by all concerned. So I'm not going to make it long-winded, but well done, everybody. What a brilliant result. Superb.
Thanks. Thank you, Councillor Bray. I think my next portfolio holder is Councillor Placey.
Thank you, Leader. I have a statement about the crime and disorder reduction strategy. At its meeting of the 21st of October this year, actually, last month, Cabinet formally received and noted the Monitoring Officer's report issued under Section 5A of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989 in respect of the position in relation to Council's historic omission regarding the formulation and implementation of a crime and disorder strategy for the Council, as required under Sections 5 and 6 of the Crime and Disorder Act. I am providing an update as per Recommendation C of that report, namely the proposed actions and timescales to resolve the historical omission to approve the Crime and Disorder Reduction Strategy 1998 at full Council. The timescale to address the above issue is as follows. This month, we are carrying out a strategic assessment and producing a draft assessment document. Next month, we are producing a draft crime and disorder reduction strategy. In January, a draft report and strategy will go to management team. In February, the final crime and disorder reduction report and strategy will go to Cabinet, and in March, it will go to full Council. I would like to reassure members that the crime and disorder reduction strategy will in future go to full Council for approval. I would also like to assure members that the failure to do so previously has not prevented the work we carry out with our partners from being progressed. In addition to the statutory partners of Tendring District Council, Essex Police, Essex Fire and Rescue Service, the Probation Service and North East Essex Integrated Care Board, the Community Safety Partnership also includes Community Voluntary Services Tendering and Citizens Advice Tendering, together with a number of other agencies. This partnership has delivered a number of projects, and if you bear with me, I will give you some examples. Centre for Action on Rape and Abuse, otherwise known as CARA, is a support service for victims and survivors of sexual violence and child sexual abuse. In 2023, 365 referrals from Tendring residents were received, which included 58 young people aged 13 to 17 and 20 under the age of 12. CARA's services to clients includes an independent sexual violence advisor who supports them through the criminal justice system and provides advocacy and emotional support. Our community partnership funding, in line with Safer Essex, supported 200 therapy sessions. Then with the police, Operation Esplanade is a joint operation with police and council officers undertaking patrols in the peak summer holiday period with the aim of tackling antisocial behaviour and street drinking in Clacton Town Centre. In 2023, the operation was then called Operation Gingerbread. Essex Police and Tendring Council completed 250 hours of dedicated foot patrol in Clacton Town Centre, and during this time, the PSPO powers were used over 40 times, along with several arrests. 25 incidents of disorderly behaviour were attended to, and 10 intelligence reports were made in relation to drugs. This year, Operation Esplanade, there have been over 200 hours of dedicated foot patrol in Clacton Town Centre at peak times every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Powers under the PSPO have been used over 44 times during this period. This involved dispersing street drinkers, removing alcohol and dealing with low-level ASB incidents. 10 arrests were made in relation to public disorder and shoplifting. 20 police intelligence reports were submitted, 12 stop searches were undertaken. During these periods over the last 2 years, there has been a 65% reduction of ASB incidents reported in Clacton Town Centre. And finally, Ask for Angela. This initiative aims to support individuals in nighttime economy venues who feel they are being harassed, followed or receiving unwanted attention, by providing a safe phrase to use that informs the venue that they would like help or support. This is achieved by providing training to nighttime economy venues to ensure they understand what appropriate assistance is when someone feels like they are being harassed and they ask for Angela. Training has been provided to all pubs and clubs in Clacton on how to respond appropriately if someone asks for Angela. The venue staff will then be able to assist the individual and take them out of the situation and help them leave the establishment safely. I look forward to bringing our crime and disorder reduction strategy to full council next year. Thank you. Then I've got something a little bit lighter. I attended the celebration event for the Junior Ambassador Project on Tuesday. And I would like to, again, this has been going for a number of years now, I think, and the results are being seen. It's about, if you don't know, teaching our primary school children the diversity we have in our culture, and they're learning about other people's ways of life, I guess is the best way to put it. This one, we had Chinese poetry from Wharton Primary, songs from The Lion King from Chase Lane Primary. We had carols and national anthem and poems from Wicks and Ravenous Primary. We had Bollywood dance from Kirby Primary and Tendring Primary. And their faces when they joined in with the African drumming song, it was just beautiful. And it finished with Wicks and Ravenous up on the stage singing Imagine. I can't recommend it enough. It was really, really, truly uplifting, and the theatre was absolutely full. So those young people had full support from their families. It was amazing. And in case you haven't noticed, I guess you all know that today is Children in Need Day, so I've convinced my colleagues to wear a Pudsey badge. That's it from me, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Placey. I think convincing wasn't that hard. So, Councillor Honeywood.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, the crime disorder reduction strategy. Can I ask, is there a deadline, or was there a deadline when we should have had this in place?
I think we'll pass that one to the officers.
The legislation was passed or came into effect in 1998, and they established the partnerships for crime and disorder, and the local authority, as one of the responsible authorities, was required to adopt a strategy relating to crime and disorder. I made inquiries as to whether we had a strategy or not on the basis of some information that I became aware of, and I have been informed that any decision relating to a crime and disorder strategy cannot be located. So it is a very historical situation for tendering.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you both. I think that brings to an end the announcements from Cabinet. So I'm going to go on to item number 6, which is matters referred to the Cabinet by the Council, and there are none. Takes us to number 7, and this is matters referred to Cabinet by committee reference from the Resources and Service Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Portfolio holders review of performance and management of projects under their respective portfolios. So normally Councillor Baker would have responded to this because he was the main response from Cabinet, but as he's not here, I'm just going to go with his comments that are on page 25 of the report agenda. I don't intend to read them out because they're a bit lengthy, but I'm also going to move the recommendations also on page 25. But before I do, can I just thank the committee for their work? As a former chairman of the Resource and Overview and Scrutiny, I know how hard it can be sometimes to get these things in front of Cabinet. So I appreciate all the work that they did, and if you could pass that back to your committee, that'd be excellent. Thank you, Councillor Honeywood. I do need a seconder though before I can move this.
I'll second that, Leader.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. And we'll go to comments. Councillor Honeywood.
Thank you, Chairman. I notice under this item that the comments have been provided by the Housing and Planning portfolio holder. That's on page 25. As chairman of the Scrutiny Committee, one of the things we asked about, and it's on page 24, and I'm happy to read that piece out, bullet point A, bottom of page 24, portfolio holders must ensure that their respective reviews with their corporate directors of the performance and project management of existing projects within their respective portfolios must be completed in good time, so that their findings, together with such additional actions as the leader wishes to undertake in response, can be reported to the Resources and Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee at its meeting due to be held on the 17th of December 2024. As I said, it's a response from the housing portfolio holder, but there doesn't seem to be anything from either yourself or the other portfolio holders.
I think it only really required one from the housing on, part B of your recommendation. It notes that the leader of the council will be invited to attend that meeting of the committee to discuss the outcomes of those reviews, which I've written down. I'm more than happy to do. Thank you for the birthday present, because that is my birthday, the 17th of December. And I'm happy to discuss the recommendations as per your request at that point with the committee.
Thank you very much for that. I shall look forward to spending your birthday with you.
I do expect a present, a birthday present. So it's been moved, seconded. There are no other comments. Happy to agree? Thank you very much. Agenda item number 8 is the matter referred to Cabinet by committee. This once again is the Resource and Service Overview Scrutiny Committee. Fly tipping and mobile CCTV enforcement. And an irony is that the person asking most of the questions is now the person answering them. So, Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Leader. I note the recommendations of the committee and thank them for the work they've carried out. I'll be working with the services involved to explore the resource implications of adopting some of these measures. I've set in place a number of practices with the help of officers, and with the agreement of the Chief Executive, these include an all-members briefing on waste and strategy, which we hope to arrange early in 2025, and improved communication between Tendring Council and volunteer litter picking groups, which I hope to implement soon after the all-members briefing.
And do you have a seconder? Councillor Placey.
I'm happy to second this, and my comments are as in the report, which I'm happy to read. That I also note the recommendations and thank the committee. I have raised the recommendations within the report with the relevant service. I am happy to explore the option to use AI functionality where appropriate. I have asked the services to assess the impact of using AI on our existing policies and delivery of service.
Thank you, Councillor. It's been moved and seconded. Any comments? Councillor Honeywood.
Yes. Firstly, many of the points raised at the scrutiny committee were raised by Councillor Smith, and he did have a lot of enthusiasm for those points, and I'm sure he'll be using that enthusiasm to bring forward his suggestions of that. So we look forward to seeing those. My only concern is obviously around CCTV, because we're in such a mess with the CCTV we're trying to introduce, and we're now trying to tie that in. That's my only criticism, but I think his enthusiasm will be an asset to you.
And I totally agree with you. His enthusiasm has endless bounds, as we found out. It's been moved and seconded. Can I have an agreement on that, please? Agreed. Thank you. Right, item number 9, Councillor Scott. I believe you're going to vacate the room while we discuss this.
Thank you.
You're going to go and make us all tea, yeah? Okay. Agenda item number 9 is the matter of...
Excuse me, Chairman, for the gaming, do I need to leave? Okay.
You're going to help him make the tea. Okay, agenda item number 9, matters referred to the Cabinet by committee, reference from the Licensing and Registration Committee, renewal of the Statement of Licensing Policy, the Gambling Act 2005. Now, normally this would be moved by the portfolio holder, Councillor Baker, but unfortunately he's not here today, so it falls to me. So I'm just going to read out his comments that he gave to the Licensing Committee, where he says, I thank the Licensing and Registration Committee for its oversight of the development of this revised policy statement on behalf of the Council. It is important that we operate the Council's gambling licence functions in a way that promotes the Gambling Act 2005's objectives of preventing gambling from being a source of crime or disorder, being associated with crime or disorder, or being used to support crime, ensuring that gambling is conducted in a fair and open way, and protecting children and other vulnerable people from being harmed or exploited by gambling. And I'm pleased to support the adaptation of this revised policy statement and urge Cabinet to recommend this to full Council. So that was his comments. The recommendations are on page 28. Page 41. I do need a seconder though.
Seconded, Leader.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments? Okay, it's been moved, it's been seconded. Can I have an agreement, please? Agreed. Thank you very much. Could somebody get the other two, please, for us? Might be worth you thanking the committee for all the work they've done. I will do once I've done all 4 of them.
Mind you, that is my wife, so I better be careful.
I'll do it. Okay. Okay, all back in the room. Item number 10. And this is a matter referred to Cabinet by committee. Once again, reference from Licensing and Registration Committee, the adoption of a revised licensing enforcement and inspection policy. So once again, Councillor Baker would have said, I welcome the submission of this revised policy. It supports the commitment we gave in the Corporate Plan 24 to 28 to support pride in our area and services to residents. Regulatory systems only work properly when enforcement powers are used proportionally and responsibly to protect the public and consumers. This policy sets out the approach to be taken in licensing to achieve this. It builds on the programme of routine inspections agreed by the Licensing and Registration Committee, through which we have taken a proactive approach to checking compliance. I formally invite Cabinet to approve the policy. So that has been moved by for myself. I need a seconder.
I'm happy to second.
And do we have any comments on that? Okay, but it's been moved and seconded. Can I have an agreement, please? Thank you very much. Item number 11. There seems to be a theme going on here. Matters referred to the Cabinet by committee, reference from Licensing and Registration Committee yet again. This is the adoption of a sex establishment policy. So in this matter, Councillor Baker said it is right and proper that the district councils can represent the communities we serve and apply appropriate controls on the location and operation of any sex shops, sex cinemas and sexual entertainment venues. Intending we have a single established sex shop, however, through this renewed policy, we would be prepared if others wanted to open such shops, cinemas or venues elsewhere in the district. This means we can carefully consider the impact proposals may have on the locality and the protection for those potentially working at those businesses. On the basis of being prepared for any such applications, I urge Cabinet to approve the policy as submitted. The recommendations on this one are on page 91. I do, however, need a seconder.
I'm happy, as a member of the Licensing Committee, I'm aware of the hard work and dedication from our officers that brings this to us for approval. I'm very pleased to second this.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments? Can I have an agreement, please? Okay. And that takes us on to item 12. And this is matters referred to the Cabinet by a committee. Reference from the Licensing and Registration Committee again. Adoption of a pavement licensing policy. Councillor Baker said, as with all of the policies submitted for approval at Cabinet today, I wish to congratulate the Licensing and Registration Committee for ensuring the policies of the Council in this service area are kept under review and refreshed as a consequence. In this case, we have had temporary measures introduced as part of the post-COVID-19 Build Back response, and those measures have now been made permanent. With the obvious need to allow clear access routes for the public to use, this pavement licensing regime allows cafes, restaurants and bars to secure a licence to place furniture on the highway. The policy now submitted sets out the Council's approach to the administration of the licensing function, and I commend it to Cabinet. And the recommendation on that one is on page 113. I do, however, need a seconder before I can go further.
Thank you, Leader. I'm happy to second this one too.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. It's been moved, it's been seconded. Do I have any comments before I go to the vote? Can I have an agreement then? Thank you very much. And I'd just, at that point, just like to thank the Licensing Committee, which Councillor Smith's part of, but in general, for all their hard work. As you can see, there was quite an extensive part of the agenda today that went through that committee, and to keep us up to date and lawful, and I really appreciate all the work that they've done. Right, item number 13. Item number 13 is Leader of the Council's items. I have one statement to make. Okay. So this is on the termination of the Your Stride Careline contract. On the 24th of October 2024, and in accordance with powers delegated to me within the Council's constitution, as set out within Part 3, Responsibility of Functions, Scheme of Delegated Powers, Scheme 3, Responsibility for Executive Functions, Section 3, General Principles Regarding Decision Making by the Cabinet, Paragraph 4B, Part 3.29. I made an urgent decision on behalf of the Cabinet upon which I'm required by those provisions to make this public statement. That urgent decision related to the termination of the Your Stride Careline contract and was as follows: that A, the leader of the council, i.e. me, in exercising their authority and following consultation with the Section 151 and monitoring officers, makes an urgent decision to authorise immediate notice being served on AE Partners Limited, giving 16 weeks prior notice to terminate the supply of services agreement between them and the council. B, the directors for governance and of planning and communities be authorised to take the necessary administrative steps to enable this decision to be implemented as soon as possible and without further delay to the council. And C, notification of such decisions will be reported to members accordingly. My reasons for taking these urgent decisions were recorded in Part B, but in the public interest, the Monitoring Officer has summarised some of the details in the section of the Careline report on pages 337 and 338 of this agenda. I decided that measures needed to be put in place to serve notice to permanently terminate contract, given the customer, AE Partners Limited, 16-week notice in accordance with the termination provisions as set out within the clause 46 of the contract. Details of my urgent decision will be publicly reported to members at the meeting of the full council that is due to take place on Tuesday, the 26th of November 2024, and this concludes my statement on this matter. Councillor Bray.
Thank you, Leader. Obviously, we only received this notification as we came in today, and you've just announced it here. I don't profess to be an expert on Careline or anything around it, I'm certainly not. But the one thing that immediately springs to mind is just some reassurance that we are communicating with the service users and explaining to them the outcomes and their possible alternatives, given you've made this decision. Thank you, Leader.
Whilst you may have only, I'm going to go.
Thank you, sorry. Councillor Bray, first of all district council members get notification of decisions made, so you would have received the email notification in relation to the urgent decision. Also, it is referenced in the Cabinet agenda, so details of it are within there as well. And in relation to the users, there will be steps being taken within the 16 weeks which is the termination period, as to what happens next. I think it's important to highlight that of those, and this information is in the public domain, it's in the Cabinet report, there are 9,500 registered users of Your Stride. 35 are in tendering.
Sorry, I was literally going to say the same things, but I don't think there's much more for me to say. You wanted to come back?
Well, firstly, I'll apologise. I certainly haven't seen that email, so it has come to me. It's slipped by. I don't miss many. Apologies for that, for not seeing it. And I appreciate it is only 35 people in tendering, but that is still 35 people, and I'd like to think we do communicate with them. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Okay, I'm going to move us on to item number 14. Cabinet member item, report of assets portfolio holder, social value policy, Essex Procurement Partnership, and I believe this one is yours, Councillor Cox.
Thank you, Leader. And as portfolio holder for assets responsible for procurement and social value, I present to the Cabinet a social value policy for adoption to demonstrate how the Council can deliver its corporate priorities by achieving social value through procurement activity, ensuring that additional benefit and beneficial non-financial outcomes for the community can be delivered through direct commissioning of our contracts with suppliers. Excuse me. The term social value is defined in the Public Services Social Value Act of 2012, which came into force in January 2013 and has been part of the Council's procurement procedure rules since the legislation was enacted. Although previously the Council was not determined what social value means for the district, this administration has been keen to embed social value as a concept across the organisation. Implementing a social value policy can elevate social value from a purely procurement process to an organisation-wide policy. Organisation-wide ownership of social value will encourage each project owner across the authority to consider how they can achieve priority objectives in the corporate plan. These outcomes should be assessed during the development of the strategic business case, procurement approaches, specification, tendering process and contract management activities. To achieve this, it is important that social value is not only a responsibility of the procurement team, but also the services and budget owners who have responsibility for the contracts being commissioned, let and managed. It is also important that we, as cabinet members, ensure that social value is an integral part of our thinking as we develop policies which affect our individual portfolios. It is considered best practice for authorities to have a corporate-wide social value policy, and its introduction will indicate to suppliers the importance and longevity of this agenda. Importantly, the policy sets out the themes, outcomes and measures which provide a pool of social value objectives to be selected from. This enables officers, in consultation with portfolio holders, if necessary, to choose the TOMs which are relevant to the particular contract and could be delivered through that contract. This approach will provide consistency to the social value objectives being sought and monitored. The Essex Procurement Partnership, of which Tendring District Council forms a part of, and Tendring's Director of Governance, having promoted social value forming an early part of its policy development, have collaborated to produce the draft social value policy as set out in Appendix A, which starts at page 114, and it's that what we're asking you to adopt this morning. Like many councils across the country, Tendring, along with the Essex Procurement Partnership, is seeking to adopt the Local Government Association's National Social Value Task Force National Themes, sorry it's a bit of a mouthful, outcomes and measures method of classifying and scoring social value in our tender processes. This method is frequently referred to as the National TOMs. The themes, outcomes and measures are based on a strong, inclusive and stable economy, a good place for children and families to grow, health, well-being and independence for all ages, and a high-quality environment. Awareness will be raised through events and forums with local businesses to raise awareness of the social value policy through the Youth and Economic Growth Service and their contacts. The Essex Procurement Partnership will also provide material and training sessions can be arranged for suppliers. A performance monitoring scheme is being developed. The principle is that this will be undertaken through the procurement team, so there is a central method and approach, and to take this additional responsibility from service contract managers. Tendring District Council forms part of the Essex Procurement Partnership, and I currently chair the member advisory group. We will soon be bringing forward a procurement strategy and align to the implementation of the Procurement Act 2023, which will come into effect in January 2025. I now ask Cabinet